Hi, everyone. I think most of you know me by now, but I'm Caitlin Immunitis, and I'm your health and wellness coach. And today we are here to talk about how we can all come out of this quarantine the healthiest and best versions of ourselves. And I truly, truly believe that we are all capable of that. And I truly encourage all of you to take advantage of this time and do so. So to get started, I wanted to do a little meditation exercise with you. So I'm gonna change my screen here so you guys just have something else to focus on. There we go. So we're gonna do a little meditation exercise. I don't know if you guys have ever tried anything like this before. If you haven't, that's okay. This is going to be real quick and easy. So I want you to start off either with your legs crossed, sitting on the floor, or sitting straight up with your back straight, your hands resting gently on your thighs. I want you to start this exercise by taking a deep breath in and out, and gently closing your eyes. This will only take a few minutes, and I promise that you're going to come out of this a whole lot more relaxed and calm. I truly believe that this is something that you can all do every day, should do every day, even if it's just for a couple minutes, just to kind of relieve that stress and kind of ground you. Let's take another deep breath in and out the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing as deep or as light as you want, however you want. As you breathe in, I want you to feel your lungs expanding with air. And as you breathe out, feel your body soften gently. Allow the breath to continue its natural rhythm, in and out, in and out. As you pause for a moment, I want you to notice the feeling of the body, the weight of it pressing down on the seat below you, the contact of the feet on the floor and arms and the legs. Noticing any sounds around you, noticing how your body feels. How is it breathing? How is it moving? Do you feel it in your stomach? For others, it might be the chest or the diaphragm. Not breathing in any special way, just starting to notice the rising and falling sensation. If you can't feel anything, gently place your hand on your stomach as you follow that moment. And your mind might wander away. That's perfectly normal. And as soon as you've noticed it wandering, acknowledge that and kind of let those thoughts go. Come back to that rising and falling, rising and falling. Let go of any focus. Let your mind do whatever it wants for just a few seconds. Bring your attention back to your body, the feeling of contact, any sounds. Now I want you to gently open your eyes. Take a moment to kind of do an inventory with yourself. How did this feel? Does your body feel different? Does your mind feel different? Meditation is a skill that takes time. You learn it, and there's going to be days where you simply just can't do it. No different than exercise. And then there's going to be days where you absolutely love it and come out feeling refreshed and invigorated and remember why you began doing this in the first place. I'm going to take you to the presentation now. That was just a little warm-up exercise to kind of give you a taste of what that's like. I know meditation is something that comes off as very intimidating to a lot of people, and it shouldn't, because all it is just taking those deep breaths. It's nothing crazy. Alrighty. So surviving and thriving in quarantine. Here are some tips to come out stronger physically and mentally. I want to know what resonates with you most. Is it the motivation to be healthier reinforced by what's going on in the world right now? Having a global pandemic really puts things into perspective, and maybe you're thinking, I haven't invested in my health the way I should, and I don't want to wait till it's too late. Maybe you're confused about nutrition and give up and just eat whatever is easiest often, and then become frustrated and try another quick fix or fad diet. Maybe spending more time in your pantry. You've been spending more time in your pantry due to social distancing, isolation, stress, boredom, whatever the case. Or maybe you just don't like the idea of the medication that you might be taking now or might have to take in the future due to preventable conditions such as high cholesterol or diabetes or high blood pressure. These medications simply mask the problem. They don't solve it. But most of these are problems that fully can be solved through proper nutrition and lifestyle changes. So I want to ask you this question now. What does your health feel like? What does it feel like? Take that inventory, look within yourself. How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel amazing? That's great. Maybe you've been feeling tired, and maybe you've been feeling some brain fog. Maybe you've been feeling exhausted, stressed, anxious. The thing is, we need you strong and healthy, not just famous as a company, but the world. Healthcare, resources, everything is limited. And, to ease the burden on healthcare professionals and anyone else working in that industry, we need you strong and healthy. But also, you need you to be strong and healthy. The best way to do that is to take care of yourself. If you have preventable health conditions, chronic diseases, complicating factors, you're going to be at a much higher risk of having health issues and putting more stress on the healthcare system. I want to talk about some coping mechanisms, because regardless of the situation, we all have to cope with what's going on. Some people are working from home and are going crazy because they miss human contact. And some of you are working with customers day in and day out, and you're nervous about contracting something. So, some coping mechanisms that we can talk about. The first being the realization that this is not permanent. This is not a permanent situation. This will pass. And you have to recognize that and believe that to help get through this. So I want you to limit your news or social media intake. If you turn on the news, it is all negativity. I get it, here and there, we do want to understand what's going on in the world and keep updated, but there's no reason to watch it all day, every day, or even every day. It becomes stressful and weighs heavy on, I think, a lot of people's shoulders and acts as a trigger for a lot of people. So if you can limit that, if it affects you, if it doesn't affect you, go ahead, watch it as much as you want. Now look towards the future, because we do have a future beyond this, and start planning for it. What are you going to do when you get out of quarantine? I know I sure as heck want to go to my favorite restaurants and, enjoy maybe some wineries with my friends over the summer, things that I can't do right now. So planning for the future makes it much more exciting than, putting my life on hold for the unforeseeable future. Starting each day with gratitude. I've talked about this in previous emails. I know it can be hard sometimes to find what you're grateful for when you're in a tough situation, but there is always something to be grateful for, whether it's the shoes on your feet, the shirt on your back, the roof over your head, heat, air conditioning, these little things, a warm cup of coffee, For me, like a face mask on the weekends, like just little things that make you feel better and make you feel more comfortable that maybe you often take for granted. If you focus on these things, you'll realize that your life might not be as bad as you might think it is. And in fact, it might actually be amazing. Sleep. I can never stress enough how important sleep is for everyone, anyone, for your immune system, for your health, for your well-being. Sleep is crucial. Please, I don't care if you normally think you function great on 5 hours of sleep. You're wrong. Your body needs a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep to completely restore itself. If you are not giving that to your body, you're stressing it. You're putting a greater toll on it, and you're decreasing your immune system. Please do your best. And I know not everyone, unfortunately, has that luxury. Some people do have sleep trouble, but doing your best if you can to get to bed early, create a sleep routine so that it becomes regular for you. And having a routine in general is very, very important. Get up, brush your teeth, exercise, begin your work. When you're working from home and you kind of lose sense of that routine, you can lose sense of your self-worth, and that's very, very important. So I highly recommend having your routine. Obviously, as health coach, I have to say, value your physical health. So exercise, be active. We'll get a little more into that later. Go outside. There's no greater medicine than spending a little bit of time out in nature. Calms the mind, kind of refreshes and invigorates you. And lastly is keep in touch. So keep in touch with your relatives, family members, anyone who you feel might boost you up or might need a boosting. You might be an introvert and this is amazing for you, but there's people who are extroverts who are struggling right now. So, if you can reach out and help them, make the world a little bit better place. Equanimity. I talked about this in one of my previous emails, and this is really the best way to handle any storm in life. Equanimity to me, this word means knowing that there's going to be bad weather, but it will pass. And that's what I look at this as. Yes, this is definitely a big storm, one that might be very destructive, but it will pass. We will recover, we will heal, and there's no reason to, kind of let yourself get lost in the stress and anxiety of the situation, because it's not going to solve it. It's not going to make it any better. It's not going to make it pass sooner. So you have to recognize that. These are some questions I highly recommend you ask yourself daily. You write it out. What am I grateful for today? Who am I checking in on or connecting with? What expectations of normal am I letting go? How am I getting outside? How am I moving my body? And what beauty am I either creating, cultivating, or inviting in today? Movement. I wanted to retouch on this. I sent out some resources like a month ago, but I wanted to touch back up on this because there is so much available right now. And if you have any questions, need help finding something that will work for you, please reach out to me. I feel like every fitness blogger and website and everyone is just putting out so much free, especially resources right now. You've got to take advantage of it. So the recommendation is that you exercise at least 30 minutes a day. That means getting that heart rate elevated in an hour for kids. If you're able to go outside, most of us are, go for a run, go for a walk, rollerblade, bike, whatever makes you happy, brings you joy. If you hate walking on the treadmill in your basement, go outside, go for a walk, go for a hike. Anything to kind of get your body moving the way that it's designed to move. If you can't leave the house, dance, do some yoga, walk up and down the stairs, use what you've got, some jump rope in the living room. Something that I like to implement is exercise snacks. And basically what these are is just doing quick little movements throughout the day. So, maybe 10 a.m. rolls around and I'm feeling a little groggy from staring at my computer too long, I'll get down and do 10 push-ups. I'll get up and do 10 jumping jacks, something like that kind of like wakes you up, brings you back into action. You're like, whew, okay, I'm here, we're good, let's do this, So that's one way that you can kind of work out without committing yourself to something really intense or that you're not used to, like maybe a workout video or regiment routine. But YouTube is an amazing resource for videos. Pop Sugar Fitness is a really good channel on there that I like, but there are a million. If you like Zumba, if you like yoga, if you like walking workouts, just go on YouTube. It's free, and hook it up to your TV if you can. If you have a smart TV or a Fire Stick, it is such an amazing resource. You can do body weight movements at home. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just some squats, some push-ups, some jumping jacks, that type of stuff you can do at home without any need for weights. And then I did want to touch on some apps that are offering some free services right now. Peloton, Nike Plus, Orange Theory, Fitbit Premium. I've been using Peloton, I don't know how to say it, Peloton, and I love their workout program offerings. They have like 30-minute classes, 20-minute classes, 10-minute classes, so you can kind of build what you want, where you want. Maybe you could do a 10-minute in the morning because you're groggy and just need a little something to wake up, and then maybe later at lunch you do a 30-minute workout, or whatever works for you. Big misconception is that you have to have like a bike or a treadmill to do the Peloton workouts. There's like body weight strength exercises. There's also a cardio tab that you can do body weight stuff in, and then there's even like a walking tab. So definitely recommend giving that a shot. Peloton is what has been keeping me sane. So here's a question. If you were to choose to be more active or try being more active, incorporating more physical activity, how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel in your body? How would that make you feel about yourself? Can you imagine yourself doing it, even if it was just for one day? And, last question, how can you get started? These are things I want you to think about. The power of your fork. So these are all some important immune system boosting foods. As you can see, it looks just like a rainbow going around the screen, doesn't it? So protein for healing and recovery, vitamin A to regulate the immune system, vitamin C forms antibodies which protect against infection and boost immunity, vitamin E to neutralize free radicals in the body, and zinc supports healthy immune system and wound healing. So these are all important vitamins that we want to incorporate in our body. And I should also include vitamin D. If you don't get enough sunlight, I highly recommend supplementing because that also supports your immune system. Should have put that in here. But how do you get these in? How do you get these in your diet? Are you gonna, follow these images that I have posted here and eat one from each category every day? Honestly, just choose whole foods that have been minimally processed. You don't have to focus on getting one little thing from every category, but making sure that you're eating, a variety of different fruits and vegetables that have been minimally processed. So, not like a whole potato versus a potato chip. And I will tell you that a potato does have great nutrients in it. So, I'm never going to tell you never eat a potato. They are a great source of nutrients. And, I know that we're struggling with some things being out at the grocery store, fresh, frozen, canned. They're all excellent, healthy options. And in fact, frozen fruit oftentimes might actually be more highly nutritious than fresh fruit because it's frozen at its peak. So as a fruit sits on the shelf longer and longer and longer, it loses its nutritional value more. Those frozen fruits and vegetables are an amazing option. Doing the canned, if that's what you have to do, just make sure you rinse everything with water, especially beans or canned corn. You get fruit in the can, make sure that it's either in water or 100% fruit juice. rather than like a syrupy sugar concoction. You don't want that. The next thing is prebiotic foods. So fiber, prebiotic fiber, same thing. These are foods that feed your digestive system and promote gut health. And these are, once again, just healthy options that you should be incorporating in your diet on a daily basis. So beans, lentils, quinoa, oats, great option during this time. Whole wheat pasta, rice, vegetables, fruit, quinoa, popcorn, nuts. You know, I don't know about you guys, but when I've gone to the grocery store, there has been absolutely no shortage of fresh fruits and vegetables. You go to the canned section, you go to the pasta section, you know, they're a little low on supplies there, but yeah, if you need fresh fruits and vegetables, which you should be eating every day, they have been in full supply at my grocery store and every grocery store I've been to. And then last is probiotics. So I've done a separate webinar on probiotics. I hope you guys know how important they are by now. Promoting your gut health is one of the most important things you can do for a million different reasons, but right now because it supports your immune system. What you absorb in your gut builds your immune system. If you're not absorbing nutrients because you have poor gut health, guess what? All the fruit and vegetables and all those things that you're eating aren't going to do anything. And what prevents that from happening is having an imbalance of bad bacteria in your gut. So to prevent that, making sure that you're eating those prebiotic foods and then adding probiotics. So you can take a supplement, and I can give you a recommendation for my favorite probiotic brands. But you can also get them from food, natural sources. And I actually brought some examples. So this is pickles. Now notice these are not the Vlasic pickles. These are fermented pickles. This brand is Wake Robin. I believe it's a local company. Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio. But these are fermented pickles. They're in the refrigerated section. These are not the Vlasic pickles that are shelf stable. Those do not have any probiotics. The other thing I have here is Cleveland kraut. This is another fermented sauerkraut that you could put on your eggs in the morning or on your toast or on a veggie burger or burger, either way. I've mixed it into a veggie burger mix that I made before, like a black bean burger. So this is a really good option too. Once again, refrigerated. And the last thing I wanted to mention was bone broth. If you can incorporate this in your diet, so I like to, this brand is my absolute favorite, but there are a million different brands now. It's pretty mainstream. But if you want to sip on this, this is amazing for your gut. High in collagen, which means stronger hair, better skin, nails. It has a million different benefits in addition to being packed with protein, which I'm all about. So anywhere I use chicken broth, I will swap bone broth. And I will also sip on this throughout the day. And then I did, you know, the other probiotic sources that I didn't mention yet were yogurt, kefir, which is like a drinkable yogurt, kimchi, a lot of Japanese food, miso soup, also in a lot of Japanese food, tempeh, it's a vegetarian meat alternative, kombucha, oops, what did I just do? Kombucha, that's like a fermented tea drink that you can drink, cottage cheese, and sourdough bread. I actually didn't even know this till recently. Sourdough bread is a natural probiotic. So get some home-baked sourdough bread from the West Side Market, like I did this weekend, and you know, eat it with your avocado toast with a tomato and an egg on there. That's the best breakfast. So yummy. Oh, here's the elephant in the room. 38% of adults say they have overeaten or eaten unhealthy foods in the past month because of stress. These are some memes that I found online. There's so many. These are like all over the internet right now, but like me eating all my quarantine food on day 1 of isolation. Day 1 of quarantine. I'm gonna meditate and do body weight training and all the healthy stuff. Day 4. Pours ice cream into pasta. Or what about this one? Forget the freshman 15. These self-quarantine snacks are about to give me the COVID-19. So I think these are really funny and relatable, but also, you know, I wanted to give you guys some strategies to combat this because I realize this is a real problem. Stress and boredom eating strategies. The first is controlling your triggers. So I talked about limiting your intake of the news. That's a stressful trigger for a lot of people, and you might not realize that's a trigger until you kind of keep a food journal and keep track of these type of things. So if you watch the news and then before you know it, you're in the pantry snacking on something, oh, wait a minute, those two are related. Or maybe it's, you know, you haven't talked to a friend and vented to them in a few days. Maybe that's your trigger, that you just need a place to vent. Or maybe it's a specific food in general. That's very possible too. So if you struggle with, you know, the stress eating, I highly recommend trying to keep a food journal. Do not deny yourself your favorite comfort foods. This ends in a spiral of self-hate. Never ever will I tell you to deny yourself your favorite comfort foods unless it is a food addiction. You know, people can have food addictions no different than people can have drug addictions where they just cannot stop themselves when they eat something. But I never ever want you to end up in this cycle of self-hate because you ate something unhealthy, so then you feel like crap about yourself, eat unhealthy for a week, and then you go on this crash diet to try to make it all better, and once again fail, because crash diets do not work, okay? So give yourself those things. Know that it's okay to give yourself those things. When I have pizza, I say, Caitlin, girl, you get that pizza, you earn that pizza, but we're not going to eat the whole pizza. Okay? And that's the difference. And I know that tomorrow I'm going to go back to my normal routine. It doesn't mean I'm on or off some diet. It means that I'm treating myself today, and tomorrow I'll be back to eating clean and healthy again. You know, it's all about balance, and that's what keeps you sane. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that it is not black and white. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And in fact, setting yourself up for that all or nothing mentality is setting yourself up for failure. Pre-portioning. So you know yourself. I know myself. Caitlin cannot be trusted with a whole bag of chips. She'll eat the whole darn bag. So pre-portion it into these little baggies. I'll buy individual servings. You know, I'll get individual servings of guacamole and individual servings of nuts, like the little 100-calorie packs, so that you don't have to control yourself. It's pre-portioned. It makes it easy for you, because most of us, when we were given the option, we are going to choose what's easy. And if that means grabbing the whole bag of chips off the refrigerator rather than cutting up a carrot, we're going to do it. And that goes with editing your kitchen. So, you know, make sure that those chips aren't in your clear sight of maybe where you're sitting and working in the living room. If you see them, you're sitting on the couch, you look over, you're like, no, I can't have it. Then you look over and you're like, oh, I really want those chips. And you look over and you're like, I'm going to have those chips. I need them, you know, because they're looking at you. They're calling your name. They're whispering sweet nothings in your ear. So, you know, make it easier on yourself. Stop making life so hard on yourself. Stop making being healthy so hard on yourself. Put those things away high up on the furthest shelf. And better yet, don't freaking buy them. Don't buy it if it's going to tempt you like that. You know, so the opposite logic applies for healthy foods. So you want to keep those healthy foods in the path of least resistance, meaning front and center in your refrigerator on the lowest shelf, cut up, ready to go. Like I said, if your carrots are in there, still got that green bush thing on them, they need to be peeled, they're in the shelf, the bottom drawer, you're not going to eat those. But if you chop them up the day you come home from the grocery store, clean them all off, put them in a little Tupperware, you know, you have your hummus right there, heck yeah, you'll grab those when it's time to eat them. So making sure that it's easy and accessible for you is the most important thing. This one is a tough one for, I think, most people, mindful eating. So asking yourself, am I truly hungry? I know most of us from the time we were kids, we have it pounded in our heads like, finish your plate, finish your plate, finish your plate. And that's that little voice in the back of your head when you're eating or when you're snacking, you know, finish the bag just so you can throw it away. You don't want to waste. But guess what? you're not hungry for it, that's just as much of a waste than, throwing food away. So, this is something that you have to recognize within yourself. Are you eating when you're not hungry just out of boredom? Did you just eat lunch and then an hour later you find yourself in the kitchen snacking again? That's not being mindful. So, recognizing those behaviors, what triggers those behaviors, and what you can do instead. So have a plan in place. So if you're sitting in there and you're thinking about those chips, even though you just had lunch an hour ago, what can you do instead? Put a plan in place. If I think about chips, this is what I'll do instead. Whether it be call a friend, take a bath, whatever. Tea or water. You most likely are not hungry. You are thirsty. People do not drink enough water, and oftentimes, more often than not, hunger or thirst is disguised as hunger. Try drinking a glass of water. If you're still hungry in 15 minutes, go for it. Have at it. But I promise you, you're most likely just hungry or thirsty. Pre-tracking. This is something that I have some people write down. So basically what this is writing down what you plan to eat for the day or the week before you eat it. And this really helps to keep you on schedule so that you're not grabbing for random snacks. You're just eating what's on your schedule. So this is just another strategy. And then of course, healthier swaps. So you guys know I love the bean pasta, eating the bean pasta instead of the regular pasta. Rather than having, those high calorie cinnamon rolls, so good, but, what about a cinnamon cereal or something like that, or cinnamon on some apples, or, for me, I was having a sweet tooth yesterday, so I made chocolate chip blondies using chickpeas. It was a super simple recipe. I'm going to have to send it out because it was so easy and literally so good. And I'm not talking like psycho health coach lady good. I'm talking like actually I had like no one would ever know that they were healthified. Okay, that type of good. That's serious stuff. And then these are a couple other strategies. So you're usually one or the other. You're the intermittent fasting type, or you're the you need 3 to 4 meals a day and snacks type. And the way you know this is if you skip meals and end up binge eating, eating unhealthy foods, overeating, then intermittent fasting most likely is not for you. Those type of people are better off eating multiple meals a day so that they're not allowing themselves to get overly hungry, so they're not tempted by the fast food. They're not likely to overeat because they're not as hungry. The intermittent fasting is a great tool for people working from home. And basically what this is you only eat 8 hours a day. So for most people, the window ends up being you eat from either 11 a.m. to 7 or 12 to 8. This is something that I have been doing while working from home, and it has really helped me with snacking. So basically, I just wait until like noon. I go as long as I can, usually 11 o'clock or noon, until I eat. It's as simple as that. And what really ends up happening is that I skip a meal. So rather than eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I just eat lunch and dinner and occasionally a snack. So it's a pretty easy way to control your appetite, give your day some structure, and prevent yourself from overeating. So these are at the bottom of the screen some examples of, kind of different routines that you could try out for you. This goes with the mindful eating. And changing your relationship with food. So it's not, is this healthy? Is this unhealthy? Do I want it? Do I not want it? What do I want? It's, is this nourishing? Is this going to contribute to the way I want to feel? How do I feel when I eat this? Is this an optimal choice for my body? Because here's the thing, you eat things that are not the best choices for your body, your energy levels and your health are going to suffer. It's not to say that we can all, we all have to be perfect. We all have those times where we're going to have foods that maybe don't contribute to our health. But if you're doing that every day, think about how that degrades your self-confidence and your mental health, and as well as your physical health as well. So some tips for mindful eating, making sure that you're chewing your food all the way, you're sitting, not standing, putting your fork down in between bites, or not eating straight from the bag. We talked about this. Saving it for later if you feel full. And in fact, at restaurants, I typically recommend that you have them bring out a second plate when you eat so that you can transfer half of that meal onto the second plate. And if you want to add from that second plate, you're welcome to, but I don't want you to initially eat that whole plate because usually the serving sizes are astronomical. These are some little recommendations for things you could try if you're having some sweet cravings. So just a piece of dark chocolate, some berries with whipped cream. I love those Laughing Cow cheeses with like some smoked salmon. That's like one of my favorite snacks. Chocolate syrup on fruit, cottage cheese with peaches, a waffle with nut butter. So these are all things that kind of can make you feel like you're indulging without reaching for that pint of ice cream that's going to make you feel not so good later. So here are some questions I had for you. What does the rest of your quarantine nutrition look like? What would be different in your day-to-day life if you had a stronger immune system? Or how about if you were just healthier in general? If you ate better, if you moved more, if you drank more water, what would be different and how would that feel? And most importantly, what is the first step? What is the first step that you can take today? We can all go out and take a walk today. We can all do, 20 jumping jacks in our living room today. Maybe not everyone if you have knee problems, but we can all do some form of movement. If it's walking circles around your living room 10 times, so be it. Our bodies are designed to move. And when you do not do that, that's when your health suffers. So we all have a decision to make right now. Do you choose the road to the health or the road to disease? And that's what you're choosing every single time you put a piece of food in your mouth. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was helpful and informative, and I hope that this helps you make healthier choices in your day-to-day lives beyond just this pandemic that's going to be over before we know it. So anyway, have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing Easter. I will talk to you next time.